So in the last video, we saw how we can add an item to the cart and remove that specific item to the cart. So if I can just go ahead and show you what we did, and we can go ahead and add that item to the cart. So you see we get this message that item was added to the cart. We can go ahead and remove that item from the cart, and we get the message that that item is removed from the cart. If we go ahead and remove from the cart again, we get this message that that item was not in the cart, of course, which it isn't. So to follow along, all you need to do is to go to this GitHub repository at abookos/DJ e-commerce, and I'll leave the link for this in the description section below so we can get started. And right out of the bat, I see that if we go out and add an item to the cart, we need to fix the navbar so that it updates as we add an item to the cart. So we're going to do that with a template tag, and in this case, inside our catalog app, we are going to create a new file or a new directory and call it template tags. And inside template tags, we create a new file. Let's just call it cart template tags, like that, .py. So inside here, what we are going to do is start by importing templates from Django. So from Django, we need to import template. So once we have that, we also need to import our order model, since we'll be looping through the many-to-many field in our order model. So these items field here. So if we can just go back and say from, and it is in the same app. So from .models, we can import the order, and let's just put catalog in front of that so that we don't run into any errors. So we have our order model imported, and the next thing we're going to do is to register this template tag. So we type register equals to the template that we imported from Django dot we register it as a library, so like that, and we need to call that, and right below it, if we need to add our registered template as a decorator onto a function. So I can just type register, or let's say at register, like that, and below it is where we define our function. So I have an extension installed, so if I just type register in here, and it should be at register underscore filter, and we get this boilerplate. And for the function name, let's just call it at item count, and it's going to take in a user, since we'll be filtering by the request user. So we pass in the user there, and in here we want to return the item count of that specific user. And so to do that, we'll start by an initial query set, and for us to return that cart item count, we'll need the user to be authenticated. So we put in a conditional and say if request dot user dot is underscore authenticated. So if we are authenticated, and we need to pass in self there. So if self dot request dot user dot is authenticated, then we'll start by an initial query set, and this query set will be a filter on the order objects. So order dot objects dot filter, and we want to filter where the user equals to the request user, so request dot user, and where ordered is false. So we want to get those orders that have not yet been ordered. and if that query set exists. So if query set dot exists, meaning we have some items in our cart, then what we want to do is return that query set dot items. First of all, before we return that query set items, we need to grab the first item that exists in that query set, and that will be our order. So the order, it will be query set, and we just grab the first item there, and we return a count of the items in that order. So return order dot items dot count, and so order dot items dot count there, like that. And if we don't have any order, we'll just return 0. So you can just say else, we need to return 0, and can get rid of that there. And another thing, since we are passing in the user in the function itself, we don't need to call request.user there. So make sure you correct that. So if our user is authenticated, we want to filter the order objects where the user is just the user. Or we can go ahead and pass in the request and then the user. Whichever method you choose, it will be fine. So go ahead and save everything, and we can close that. So if we close that, so what we want to do inside our base.html in the navbar, it is where we want to display that cart item count. So if I can just clean up this here, get rid of the comments, and on the right hand side where we have the cart, is first thing we'll need to load in the cart template tags, or up here where we load static, we also need to load the cart template tags, and that needs to be the name that you called your file inside the cart template tag, inside the template tag. So it is cart template tags, and where we displayed the one, so that was in here, we want to output that dynamically and say we want to filter on the request.user. So request.user, and we can use the pipe operator there and say we want to return the cart template tags there dot, and it needs to be, we don't need to call the name of the file there since we loaded it on the top. What we need to do is, if we go back to the cart template tags, and we need to return cart item count, so we can copy that, go back to our base, and this needs to be our cart item count. And since we're already passing in the items there, we don't need to call items at the end there. So if you can go back and refresh, and if we add something to the cart and it is not refreshing there, if you can just go back and check. So requested user cart item count. So if we can come back and just add another item to that cart, and it should refresh it. So if you just get any error, like let's say cart item or cart template tags is not registered, you just need to go and restart your server, and everything should work out correctly. So we can go ahead and add another item, let's say the shirt, and if we add that, we have 3 items in our cart, and if we add another item, we don't see the number increasing since it is same different quantities of the same items which is being added to the cart. So what we need to do is, if we click here, we need it to direct us to the order summary view where we can see the items in our cart, and to do that we'll need to go inside our templates here, and we can create a new file, call it order summary. So order summary.html, and that needs to be summary.html, like that. So inside here we can say that it extends, so extends from our base file, so base.html, and at the end there we can say our block, and the name of our block, we named it content. So we have our block content there, and we can copy everything from the home.html so that we see what containers to put our content in for it to look consistent. So we have our section there, and basically it is this. So we have the main, then we have the div there with the class of container and the section. So if I just open that, what we need is that we can copy that and close off that. So inside our, we can paste it there, and we don't need the navbar. Or yeah, we don't need the navbar there, and can get rid of those spaces there, close off those, and save everything. So we have everything formatted correctly, and we have our block content there. And inside the section, let's just say we return a h1 saying that this is the order summary. So order summary like that, and we'll need to bring it inside our views. So inside our views, we are going to create another class-based view, and that is going to inherit from the generic API view. So we need to import view from the generics, and let's create that. So this will be our order summary view, and it inherits from the view, the generic view. And since it inherits from the generic view, we need to define our own methods there. So let's define our get method, text itself, and args and keyword arguments. So text itself, args and keyword arguments, and in here we'll just return a render of that template. So return a render of our template name was, so we need to pass in self.request first. So self.request there, and the name of our template, which is order summary. So order summary.html like that. So summary, and we have everything done. So this needs to be in double M, and this order summary view, we can bring it into our URLs, and let's import it there, and we can add another path, and that just goes to the order dash summary, and it uses the order summary view. So paste it there, dot as underscore view, and the name, we can give it the same name, so order summary. So everything seems fine, and what we want to do is to link up the base file, and in here we can add an href and say that that is a URL to that order summary view. So URL to, let's see the name that we call it, and this order summary. So let's go back, paste it there, and that should look fine. If we go back and refresh, so make sure your server is running. If we click that, now we don't get anything showing there. And if we just go back, and inside our URLs, this needs to be summary like that. And if we just go to the order summary, we can add class there and specify margin top is 5 and padding top is 4. So if we come back and refresh, now let's stop the server there, run it again, since we're getting that error that URL is not found. So order dash summary, and if we go back and click there, so refresh everything, and if you can just go back to our URLs, so order summary there, and it uses the order summary view as view, and the name of that URL is order summary inside our base file. You can close off that. So basically this is our order summary. You can paste it there. So if you go to the root URL, it should work. And if we click there, now we have that title showing there. So we have our order summary, and we can close off the product, the base, and if we come back, we can get rid of text center. And what we might want to do is, if we can come back, we need to display some sort of table that gives you the summary view of your order. So inside, we can go to MDB and import that table. So I'm using the responsive table, so make sure you're using the responsive table, and you can go ahead and copy the code, and just above the H1 we can paste the table there, and we'll need to do some formatting. So make sure we tab everything in. So tab that in, and everything looks fine, and I'll go ahead and change the spacing there to use two spaces, and format everything. So if we can come back and see how it looks, refresh there. So we have our table there, and like for the heading, we'll need to have, we can output the image there, and we can have the title of the image, the price, the quantity of that image, and the total price of that image. So we can go ahead and work on that. So we'll need the item, which is just the title. So item title, the quantity, so quantity of that item, the price, the total price. So total item price, and we can get rid of this there. So for the rows, we'll only need one row, so we can get rid of these two rows down here. In here, we'll need only 4 of those, so we'll need only 4 rows, and let's see how this looks. So if you come back and refresh, so we have the title, the quantity, the price, and the total item price, not price. So the total item price. So to get that, we need to pass our order into the order summary view, and inside our order summary view, where we defined our get method, we need to pass our order in the context. So for the order, it will just be all the order objects where the user is the request user. So to be the order dot objects dot all, or we can filter. So we can filter where the user equals to self dot request dot user, and we need to get the order which are not the orders which are not ordered yet. So ordered equals to false, like that. So save everything, and inside our context we can pass in the order. So our order, it will be that order. The key is the order, and the context, we can bring it inside our template, and just like that. So we can access the order inside our template, and if we can just take a look at the models. So for the order, we have these items, which is a reference to the order items. So inside our order summary view, and for the cells or for the row, we need to write a conditional there and loop through all those order items in the order. So for order item in order dot order dot items dot all, since it's a many to many field, and for every order item we need to return a row. So I'll cut that and paste it there, and for the first it will be, we have the number, so which is just one. Then for the title, you can put it dynamically and say that will be order item dot title. If we can just go back, the item, which is a link to the item model itself. And so if you can just go back, we can copy that and paste it in all of those. And for the quantity, it will just come off of the order item itself, so quantity like that. And the price, so this we want to check if there's a discount price, we output the discount price, and if there's no discount price, we can just output the normal price. So if order item, so order item dot discount price, then we'll output the discount price of that item. So it will be order item dot discount price, else we just output the price of that item, and I'll paste that there. That will be order dot item dot price, and we can get rid of that. And for the total item price, we can see how we can output that. So let's just say that will be the total. And if we can come back and refresh, so we are not getting anything being displayed. You can check the server is still running. So we passed our order items in the order, so our order is that order there. You can save to make sure everything is correct. Give it time to reload, and if we refresh, still not getting anything displayed. Now the error we are getting, it is maybe because we're not getting all the items of that specific user. So if you can just go back to the views, and it is, yeah, we need to convert this into a get so that we can get all the order objects that are related to that specific user. So if you can just come back and refresh, now we see we have those items showing there. So we have the, and we need to fix that. So if you can just come back and comment that and refresh, yeah, so we have our order item there, the title of the order, the quantity, the price, and the total. So to get the total price, we can define some methods on the model itself. So for the order item, we can define a get total item price. So total item price like that, text himself, and at the end there we want to return the quantity of that specific item. So we want to return self dot quantity, then we multiply that with self dot item dot, let's say, the price, not the discount price. And for the discount price, it will be pretty much the same, so we can go ahead and duplicate that. So total item and needs to be discount price. This will be item discount price, like that. So if there is a discount price, then we can return that, and we'll need to define a method that gets the final price so that we don't need to repeat this logic there where we are saying that if there's a discount price. So if you can just go back and you can say this is the let's say get final price. So also text in self, and we want to check if self dot item dot discount price. So discount price, if there's a discount price, we want to return self dot get, and we need to get the total item discount price, and we can call that. And else, if there's no discount price, we can just return the normal total price. So self dot get total item price, like that. And for the final price, you can come here on the order, and in here where we output the total, that will be the order item. So you can just paste it there, and it will be order underscore item dot get final price. And if you can just come back and refresh, now we see we're getting those prices there. We have the 200, then the 400 there showing, and we can check and say that if there's a discount price, obviously there's some amount the customer is saving. So you can define a get, say, amount saved, and also text in itself, and that's there we just return self dot get total item price, and we need to minus the discount price. This needs to be the discount price. So self dot get discount price, self dot get total item discount price, and we call that at the end there, and we can copy that and bring it there. So where we are putting the price, we can put that inside the parentheses and say that will be the order item dot get amount saved, and if there's any amount being saved, we'll see the amount being saved being displayed there. Now if you can just go back and check that again, and we might want to change this method here around. Now since we are passing in a conditional here and checking if there's a discount price and returning the discount price, and if there's no discount price, just return the total item price. So we can just say the total item price minus the final price. Of course, that will depend if there's a discount price or not. So if I can just paste it there and restart the server, and if we come back and refresh, now you see it is showing up there, and where we want that to display is on the price, not on the total item price. So, or if it is on the total item price, you might want to put in a conditional and check if there's a discount price. So what you want is that, so you can grab that and come on top and say if there's a discount price, go ahead and show that, and tap that in, close off that, and refresh. So as you can see, for the 200 there's no discount price, so it's not showing. And we can make use of the label component. So if we just search for a label So right after the table, or right after we've looped through all our products, we can add another row. And so row, and inside there I'll have a button, and that just goes to nowhere for now. And we can have a class of button, and button, I say outline warning, and that will just say proceed to checkout. And we'll have two of them actually, so we can have two of those and say this is primary, and this just says continue shopping. So continue shopping. And if we come back, so we have the badge there, and I can copy that. So we can make use of, let's say for the pill, I like to use pill, so we can make use of the info one, and where we are outputting the price, I'll paste that there. And for the info, we'll copy that and replace it there and get rid of that. So if there's a discount price, we will output that badge. And if we go ahead and refresh, now we see the badge showing up there. So we'll need to float those to the right, and we can add a class onto the button itself and say both of these float them to the right. So float dash right. And so if we can come back and refresh, now we have a continue shopping, proceed to checkout, and I can just add a margin left of 2 there, and can add another cell and say that the column span for this, it is, let's say, going to be 4, and the column span for that, I'll give it, let's say 1. So if you can come back and refresh, now we see the styling is a bit messed up there. I'll give that a 3, and if we refresh, now we'll just need to fix the styling there. So I can actually get rid of that and span this the entire row, and if we refresh, now that looks great, and the margin left is not showing. So for this needs to be on the proceed to checkout. So if we come there, we specify margin left as 2. Now we have it looking a little bit nice. Then we can go ahead and display the image there. So where we have the row, we can add an image tag, and the source, it will be the order items image. So we can copy that, paste it there. So order item dot image dot URL, and we can give it several classes. So we can give it a class of rounded, and let's say just small image so that we can style it up. Inside there we can add another style and say the class of small image, we might say the width to be, let's say, 70 pixels, and the height of 70 pixels and close that. If we come back and refresh, now we see the images showing there, and we can get rid of the hash. Now we want to take care of this such that if the cart is empty, we'll just display a message saying that the cart is empty, and we can go ahead and do that. And we might just want to add some buttons here that when you click, you increase the quantity of the product in the cart. So to do that, we'll use some icons. So if you can just go to the icon list in mdbootstrap.com, and let's search for, let's say, a plus icon, and plus circles what I want to use. And again, you can use anything for that. So inside here where we have the quantity, we want the plus to be on the right hand side and the minus to be on the left hand side. So fa minus, we have our minus circle there, and I'll convert them into anchor tags. I'll cut that, wrap it around there, and tab that there, copy that, paste it there, change that to a plus, and we can add some margin there. For the minus, we can add a margin right of 2, and for the plus, margin left of 2. And if we check these out and refresh, now we have our buttons there. We can click them, and the plus, it is going to be adding to the cart, and for the minus, it is removing from the cart. And so for the plus, since we defined a model, a method of the model, which is add to cart URL, so we can copy that, and on the order summary where we are adding the item to the cart, so for the plus, the href, it will be the order item. So our order item dot get add to cart URL, because we defined that method on the item model itself. So we have the add to cart URL. Can come and refresh, and if we hit add to cart, now we see we are being redirected. If we just come back, we see the quantity is increased. And so for the views, for the add to cart view, we might just want to change that around and say we can redirect to the order summary like that, and we might just want to copy that for everything, and let's say paste it. So copy that, paste it there, and there. So save everything, and we'll tab that in. And for the remove from cart, we can add a trash icon such that when you click that trash icon, it completely removes that item from the cart. So we can search for trash, and I'll use trash alt, and right where we have the total item price or the final price, where we have the amount saved, I'm going to add another one, and I'll put that in a span tag and wrap that span around the icon itself. Give it a class and say float to the right. Let me say give it a style, a color of red, for example, and I'll convert that into an anchor tag. So we can add an anchor tag there, and that will be the remove from cart. So the href is going to be similar to that. And if we go back to the model, that was remove from cart URL, we can copy that, bring it back. So this will be get remove from cart URL. And if we come back and refresh, now we have those icons showing there. If we click that, then it was removed from the cart. If we go back, it is not there, and we might want to just redirect again. So we can copy that where we remove from the cart, right there. We can paste it there. I'll copy that, I'll cut that, and everything seems fine. So save everything, and these ones I'll leave them as they are. So if you can go ahead and remove that, no reverse was found, and okay, I'll copy that and paste it there also. And where we are redirecting to the order summary, okay, you can come back and test it. So you see now it's removed that product. If you go ahead and remove that, the error is coming from no reverse match at carts. If you can just go ahead and check that, and that needs to be an underscore because that is what we call it inside our URL. So we can just go ahead and change everything. Problems of copying and pasting. Okay, don't always copy and paste. Yeah, so change everything, and that should do it. So if we come back, and yeah, now we see we've added a bunch of them. So now we want to handle that. If the cart is empty, we'll display a message there, and we can just go back where we are looping through all our products, and we want to just put down a conditional and specify if it is empty, meaning there's no data being passed into the context. What we'll need is something like this. So we can copy that, paste it there, and we'll just need one of them. So I'll get rid of that, and that should be continue shopping. And if we refresh, now we see continue shopping is showing there. And what I want to do is check if there is an order total, and which we don't have. So if we can just go ahead and onto the model itself, the order, we can define a total method. So we can define a get total, just takes itself, and we'll start with total being equal to 0, and we'll loop through all those order items. So for order item in self dot items dot all, then we'll append the total of each order item to the total that we have. So total is equals to order item dot get, I believe it was final price. So get final price, and we need to call that, and just return the total like that. So before our two buttons, then we'll need another row. So inside here, can get rid of that, and only another one, and inside there we can specify a h4 and say the order total is, and that will be our order dot get total. So order dot get total like that, and we can add a $sign in front of that. So if we can just come back and refresh, now we see our total is 0. So what we want to do is check if there is a total and display that. So we can copy that and specify that for all of us. So if order.getTotal, we can cut that and display it around all of that and tab that in, get rid of those, and for the order total, I'll say the colon span of that is 4, or let's say 3, and that is 1, and that needs to be 4. So come back and refresh. Now we just see we're getting only one of them. If we can go back and add an item to the cart, and just bear with me, this machine is really slow. So if we add an item to the cart, we are redirected to that, and then we see the order total. We see 5 of them, and we have our order total there. And let's just change that to be 4, not 5. Yeah, now it's showing at the correct place. So we can continue shopping or proceed to checkout. And for the continue shopping, that will be the URL of home. And we can copy that and do it for that one as well. So paste it there. And yeah, that looks fine. If you can come back and take a look, we can add an item to the cart, and for the remove from cart, we need to make sure that inside our views, where we are removing from the cart, in here we are removing the complete order item. So for our button, we need to decrease its quantity by 1. So what I'll do is I'll copy that and say this is remove single item from cart, text in request and slug, and in here where we're calling order items that remove, we might just want to do the same logic right there. So we can copy that, and here we need to paste it there and say order item dot quantity minus equals 1. So save everything and order item dot save. Yeah, so everything seems fine. We can bring our view inside the URLs, remove single from cart, and this is remove single dash from cart, uses the remove single from cart view, and the name will give it remove single, and we can go ahead and define a reverse method on we can define a reverse method on the model itself. So that will be a reverse to the remove single from cart, where the keyword arguments are the slug, and this is get remove single, not single, single. Yeah, so remove single from cart, copy that, and inside our order summary where we are adding that item to the cart. For the first button, if I can just find it, and then the minus the href, it is going to be the order item. So we can copy that and paste it here. So order item dot get remove single from cart. And if we come back and refresh, now if we remove single from cart, now nothing is working. So remove single from cart URL inside our views. It should just decrease that item. And where we are printing that, we just want to say that the quantity was updated. So if we can come, and that needs to be the same. So if we refresh, and that is going to be remove single from cart, and as you can see, the message is displaying and it is removing from the cart. Now the quantity is decreasing and the price also is decreasing. And if we go, now we have 1, and if we are on 0, we want it to completely remove that item from the cart. So what you can check is if our order item, if we check our quantity of our order item, if it is greater than 1, then we can go ahead and do that. Else we just call the remove, and that should be this. So you can just call that there, tap that in, and that should look fine. So if we go ahead and add that item, we have 1. If we remove, now we completely remove that item to the cart. We can continue shopping. And yeah, so basically that's it. So if we add the item to the cart, it is displaying there, and that is what you wanted to do in this video. So you can go ahead and improve on this. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and subscribe. See you in the next video.